Welcome back, Grade 4, to Lesson 2 of our writing lesson for Term 3, Week 3, 2021. Our learning intention is to be able to describe to the reader what is happening in my story and to be able to compare the importance of showing, not telling, in my writing. The success criteria: I can use adjectives to describe what is happening in the story. I can add detail to show what is happening in the story. I can show details instead of telling them in my writing. In the 7 steps of writing process so far, we have talked about sizzling starts and brainstormed some great ideas for narratives. Yesterday, I forgot to mention that we've also worked on dynamic dialogue, including really interesting dialogue to make our stories more interesting to the reader. In this lesson, we are going to continue talking about the writing strategy, show, don't tell. So just to recap what this strategy is, to create an interesting story, the writer needs to show, not tell, the reader about people, places, and the things they are writing about. Showing rather than telling creates a mental picture in the reader's mind. As we discussed yesterday, you all visualize when you are reading stories. A good author will help you hear, see, smell, taste, and feel what is happening in the story. When readers get a clear picture, they are more engaged in the writer's story. Let's have a look at an example. Okay, I'm just going to read through this example. It's called First Base. Whoosh, strike 2, the umpire called. I stepped back out of the batter's box and hung my head. Just a hit, I thought, that's all I want. I swung the bat a couple of times to loosen up and took my place again near the plate. With my heartbeat throbbing in my ears, I raised the bat over my shoulder and waited. The pitcher pulled back and let the ball fly. I watched it speed towards me and smack! I dropped the bat and ran and ran and ran, safe at first base. So, nowhere in this story has the author told us that they were writing about baseball. So we've used our prior knowledge, or what we already know about something, to imagine what is happening in our head. The author has created some really interesting words like whoosh. So that would be the sound of the ball coming towards or going past the batter. He's also used some with my heartbeat throbbing in my ears. That describes to me that this person is really, really anxious and nervous. He desperately wants to make this run. Then we see smack. So we know that the ball has made contact with the bat. I dropped the bat and ran and ran and ran, safe at first base. Now, I know that first base is in the game of baseball or softball. So this author has told us, or has shown us, what's happening in a scene without actually telling us. It's a great example. So your first activity today, you are going to watch Nicki Minaj with a little girl called Sophia and describe how Sophia is feeling based on how she acts, how she reacts, and her facial expressions and body language.
You two are just so magnificent. I just love you so much. And you said that you love Nicki Minaj, right? Do you want to meet her? Come on out, Nicki.
So from watching that little video, what emotion is the little girl Sophia showing when she meets Nicki Minaj? How do you know that she's showing this particular emotion? What body language is she showing to show her emotion? What facial expressions is she showing, and how does she react? So your part of this first activity is you need to write down what emotion you think Sophia is feeling And you need to give 3 examples of why you think she is displaying this emotion from the video. So once again, think about her body language, her facial expressions, and how she reacts. So the next part of activity 1, you're going to watch another video called Epic Roller Coaster Fail and describe how the person is feeling based on how they act and look. Okay, so after watching that video, what emotion do you think the girl is showing at the beginning of the ride? How do you know this? What body language is she showing here to express the emotion that she's feeling? What facial expressions is she showing? And how does she react? And then tell me if you found that she was feeling a different emotion or showing a different emotion towards the end of the roller coaster ride. How do you know? So you need to write down what emotion you think the girl is feeling before the ride and at the end of the ride. You need to give 3 examples of why you think she's feeling these emotions. What facial expressions or body language is she showing you to let you know how she's feeling? Activity 2 is something similar to what you did yesterday. We would like you to rewrite these sentences to a show, not telling sentence. So he was excited to start school. So for example, your sentence could be, the boy stood at the front door with his backpack on his back, his school hat on, with a great big smile on his face. So that's showing how he's feeling. He's really happy. He's eager to get going. He's standing at the front door with his backpack on and his hat on. The next sentence we'd like you to do is the vegetables were gross. How did they look? How did they feel when you were eating them? The next part is rewrite these sentences with a showing, not telling paragraph. So that means 2 or more sentences to describe or show what is happening in this thing here. So the house was spooky. The cave was dark. He was nervous about today. If you need any examples, you can always go back to yesterday's screencast, which has lots and lots and lots of examples of show, not tell sentences and paragraphs. Good luck with your task, grade 4.